Hey everybody, happy Friday. Hello, Joan is here and Crafty Annie and Mary and Chels. She's driving but listening. Barbara Clark. I know there were several people that were here really early for this one because I misscheduled it. So the beginner chatters may not still be here. But I would like to acknowledge that they were here this morning. So Victoria Kidd, resident knitter, thank you for coming in this morning. Sharon Creates, thank you. Patricia Blanton, good to see you. And then Chels came in and let everybody know that I had screwed up. Thank you, Chels. I appreciate it. There is my apology. Hello, Joan. Chels, and Annie, you're rescheduled. I don't know that I am all that surprised that they have rescheduled. So, yay, you can be here for book club. That's awesome. Mary and Barbara. Kat, good to see you, Kat. Alice is here. Whoop, whoop. Hey, Alice. Dana Bell, good to see you. Danny Banani. I did cut my hair. Y'all, with all the stuff going on in my head, it was like, I can't handle all this hair. We had got to do something to cut back on the head stuff going on. So yes, that is what I managed to do today. Seriously, I worked on my cardigan and I cut my hair. That's it. All I did. Because I could not sleep last night. I was up until 6 a.m. this morning. Thank you to steroids. And I just couldn't do much of anything today. I was worthless. Worthless. But thank you so much, Mary. I'm really glad that you like it. I was going to rest. I rested all day and I thought I would lay down and sleep. Hi, Sandy. How's our things in? I'm not going to say it that way, Sandy. I'm going to call it Cincinnati. No, you're not going to get me on that one. Yeah, I misscheduled it. Totally did. There's Sharon. She is here. Yay. Oh, that's good. No, hey, there should never be any stress, y'all. No stress. No stress with your makes. I am still working on there we go. I'm still working on the washcloth and I'm color controlling. If any of you were wondering how these color changes go on the yarn when it goes from this scrubby stuff to the yarny part, there you go. It's not the most graceful join in the world. It does hold, especially once it's worked in. It does hold. It's just not terribly, I think they want to call that like a Russian join or whatever. It's not terribly graceful though. It really isn't. Got another pair of those scissors, Chels. You know, I only could find the red ones the last time. This time I was able to find a pair of blue ones. One of these days I'm going to find a pair in teal. I had a teal pair and then I just used the crap out of them and they're gone. They're just done. But these are the Fiskars and they're left-handed. So now I have one that's over in my shipping station also. So I cut that and I added in this kind of maroony color now. Okay, Sharon, that's okay. It's okay. I'm just letting you know I wasn't going to say that word. I'm just not going to say it. Hey, there's Rosie. Glad you're here, Rosie. Yeah, it's easy to hit the wrong key. Okay, you guys, you know I have been paying attention all week to and watching the trial of the Alec Murdaugh trial. But I do have a couple of other updates that I wanted to get to tonight. So, have you guys all been paying attention to any of these? To the Murdaugh trial, to the Lori and Chad Daybell, the Gabby Petito. There's been some movement on a lot of things, and there's also been movement on the Tara Grinstead. That's the beauty queen trial. Has anybody paid any attention to any of that? Anybody? Anybody? Can you put your hand up? Put your hand up in the chat if you have. Oh, I have to hand it to the prosecution for being sneaky. They snuck some really good shit down in there at the end of the week, didn't they? The Murdaugh trial. Oh my goodness. That is not your average housekeeper, y'all. Not your average housekeeper. So, okay, let's start with Gabby Petito because we all want to know what. There was a photo released. I bet you are. You wouldn't be you if you weren't. Hello, Katie. How are you, my friend? Oh, it upsets me to no end, Chels. To no end. Well, Annie, can we talk about the fact that Alex has been shrinking in on himself this week? Yeah. The man has been just shrinking in on himself all week. And it's very noticeable. It's very noticeable. The tears are kind of running low. We're not getting quite as many tears as we were. So tonight is the Texas Cup. Dad has made it. He was on his trip yesterday and he's made it to see his family and everything is fine there, so I can go back to Texas. And it is good old Louisiana community coffee decaf with vanilla almond milk, vanilla almond creamer. Well, okay, let's put it this way. I have not been on the fence about whether he did it or not. I've been on the fence as to whether they were going to be able to prove it or not. Still not totally sure, but I think we're making ground now. You can't stand it? I don't blame you. There's a lot of it that I can't stand. I'm listening because I just need to know now. But there's a lot of it that I'm like, man, I just don't know if I can take this. I don't know if I can take it. He didn't like the caregiver's testimony either, but she was pretty funny. If you're talking about the caregiver for his mom, she was pretty funny though. And can we talk about donuts for a minute? For y'all, did y'all hear about the donuts? So the night before, so this would have been not on June 7th, it would have been on June 6th. Alec and Maggie came over somewhere around 9 o'clock at the evening and they brought donuts and the prosecution asked, well, why did they come over at that time? And did they say, what was so special? And she said, well, they were Krispy Kremes. And the whole place broke out laughing. The entire courthouse, jury and all, started laughing. I would love to have seen whether the judge was laughing on that one, but they didn't show us. Krispy Kreme donuts. I know it. It was pretty good. I hope so too, Denny. But anyway, I've got something. I want us to look at this in a certain way here in just a minute. Hey, Lorna, glad you're here. Glad you're here. Okay, let me tell you what was going on in the Tara Grinstead. So here's what happened. And I was actually unaware of this, and you know how close this case is to my heart. I really, really have been very invested in this case. This is the case of Tara Grinstead, and she was the woman who was a beauty queen, an ex-beauty queen, and she was a teacher, and she came up missing, and they found her remains in a pecan grove. This was down in Georgia, and 2 men were brought in on her, murder, and that was Ryan Duke and Bo Dukes, okay? Now, no one has been charged in her murder. They were both brought in for it, but no one has been charged in her murder. So, Bo Dukes was charged with, um, some charges, and he got 25 years. And Ryan Duke was charged with got some charges and got 10 years. So they're both serving time. Okay, they're both serving time. Well, they had a hearing this week. What I did not know is that Ryan had that I didn't realize that Bo still has charges against him that they have not tried him on, and that Ryan, they have recharged him with some things. So the defense teams for both Ryan Duke and Bo Dukes are currently fighting to dismiss the charges against them in Ben Hill County. A hearing for Ryan was set soon after new charges came following his conviction and acquittal during his trial last May. Okay. And y'all, we did the Tara blanket and all of that stuff after that case. And Bo's attorney later filed a motion claiming his previous charges in the county were told by the statute of limitations. Less than 2 weeks after Ryan was acquitted of Tara Grinstead's murder in a 2-week trial, he was indicted on 6 additional charges. According to a copy of the indictment, a Ben Hill County grand jury indicted him with 1 count of concealing the death of another, hindering the apprehension or punishment of a criminal, 2 counts of concealment of facts, and 2 counts of tampering with evidence. And I was really surprised, you guys, that he didn't get charged with these, remember? We all talked about 10 years. What is that 10 years thing? And part of it was time served. So he was going to be free pretty quickly. The charges stem from Ryan's confession during his trial in Irwin County, where he admitted to concealing Grinstead's body and allowing Bo Dukes, the man he testified was responsible for Grinstead's death. He said that during his trial. He said Bo did it. The indictment also alleged that the crime was unknown until February 19th of 2017, which is something that Ashley Merchant, Ryan's attorney, told Douglas Now in August was incorrect. During Ryan's trial, a GBI agent testified that a report had been made in '05, along with numerous other reports mentioning both Ryan and Bo, but they were overlooked due to the overwhelming response they were receiving at the time. So this is what happened. I listened to the hearing, and this is what they were talking about. They were talking about the fact that they were overwhelmed with what they were getting tip-wise. And so there were names being thrown around. And they had at the hearing, Ryan Duke's lawyer, Ashley Merchant, she claims that there's no way that they would have either had charges to indict either Bo Dukes or Ryan Duke, either one. And she questioned a whole bunch of people along that line, and none of them really came up with anything that gave them any evidence that they could have indicted them. It wasn't until Ryan actually confessed. That's when it happened. And then remember that Bo Duke's girlfriend came forward and said that he had confessed to her. And these are the two things that they really ran with and started to really gain ground after that. There has not been any answer from the judge on this hearing. Okay, so I will have to keep you guys up to date. I hope that was clear to you. Does that make sense what I'm telling y'all? So right now, as it stands, Ryan Dukes could actually have more charges put on him, which I think in this case would be correct. And if Bo Dukes goes to court, I think that also would be correct. So let's just hope that those two things happen. But that case has been very, very near and dear to me. I've been following that ever since she went missing, and I listened to several podcasts on it. I read a lot of information about it. I watched the entire Ryan Dukes trial, as you know, and so I have been very invested in that one. Lori Vallow, Shallow Vallow, and Chad Daybell got to be in the same room together, y'all. Remember we talked about this? We wondered if they were going to get to be in the same room together. Well, guess what? She got away with it, and she got to stay after her little hearing. She got to stay and be in the room with him. Sorry. They make me so sick. I just can't help it. I just can't help it. But it's awful. It's just awful. Yeah, she did. You betcha. The judge said, well, I guess that's all right. So I need to remind you that there are no cameras for any of this. No cameras. And it's looking like there will be no cameras going forward whenever Chad and Lori go to court, to go to trial. No cameras. I listened to the hearing it was all on audio. And I must say that I was rather impressed with the audio that we got from Idaho News. So if you go to the Idaho News YouTube channel, that is where I listened to the audio for the hearing. It's a little boring, y'all. It's not really a whole lot going on, except that we're not there yet for trial. We're not there yet. It's coming. It's really moving forward, but it's not yet. Right? That they all let her do whatever she wants, Sharon. Hey, Sandy Michaels, how's it going? I got both Sandys here. And another interesting thing, they mentioned something about a religious component. So, from what I understand, there's going to be, I don't know what they call it, but there's like a religious clause of some sort, and that they're actually one side is wanting to poll the jurors to see how they feel about ultra religious sects, like the LDS, because this is a part of this case. And so there's some sort of emotion there, and the judge has got to he's got to decide on that, whether they're going to allow that to be in the questioning of the jurors. That was my understanding on that one. And then and a lot of what they talked about was what they are going to do for the questioning of the jurors, because they want to be able to decide what we're going to ask them. And they had to agree on a list of questions. And then another thing they talked about was the evidence. They had a whole bunch of evidence that got tested. They were worried that there was not enough evidence in some cases, that they would be able to, both sides would be able to do their own independent testing. And I'm still not sure if they were able to do that with both sides were able to do that. Um, they said during this hearing that it looked like they were going to get to do that one side had gotten all of their testing done, and they were going to have some to turn over to the defense so that the defense could get all their done. And of course, they're yapping back and forth about whether they got all their discovery. So all of their, like, you know, have you told us everything? Okay, you told us all the witnesses that you have that you're going to have in the trial. Have you told us all of the evidence? Have you sent us all of the evidence? Have you sent us this? Have you sent us that? And they were arguing about some sort of a report that they got that was like 1,400 pages, and they just got it. And they were supposed to have court coming up at the end of the month, and it looks like they have shoveled off the next hearing to like March something. So I know we're not going to have a court for them till after March. There you go. That's brilliant. That's brilliant, Annie. So you won't get the orange on your yarn. I like that. I guess you could use your knitting needles too. You could use your knitting needles, y'all. Come on. An extra set of knitting needles. Like this. Oh man, it's hard to do with the yarn. Come on. Oh gosh. Welcome back, Chels. Okay, so that's that. So I don't think there's going to be any trial until after. We know there's not going to be any trial after March in the Vallow Daybell stuff. That's what it looks like right now, after March. Now, the Petito thing. Oh my gosh. It just infuriates me. A picture was put out because of discovery in the case of the Petitos against the Laundries, and also that there is a case against Moab. There was a case against. There were two cases against the Laundries. Did you guys know that they actually closed one of those? One of those lawsuits against the Laundries has already closed. So the picture came out and it shows where Gabby's eye was all red and the blood smeared, and it was taken about within an hour of being pulled over by the Moab police. That was on the video. Within an hour. Unbelievable. Let me see if I've got it. Hold on. I'm looking. Oh. No, it happened before the police pulled him over. This is where he had hit her, and then they got in the van, and then they got pulled over. Looking for the picture for you guys. Of course, we feel bad for both families. All right, you guys, if you're sensitive, you don't want to watch this, but there's your warning. Here you go. Less than an hour before they were pulled over. Well, I mean, it sucks. The whole thing sucks, of course, but it could have been the whole point is the whole thing could have been stopped if Moad had done what they're supposed to do. And we all felt like that, but we didn't have proof, right? We all felt like that. Well, you can't tell me that's not proof. And she told them that he put his hands on her. She had that, and he put his hands on her. And I'm sorry, you guys, they can't get away with that. Something has to be done. There has to be better training. There has to be something has to be done, and they need to at least say they're sorry. At least say they're sorry. Yes, exactly. Yeah. They did ask her questions. Good for her. That had to be really hard for her because, they shared everything. They were in that van together. She was on her phone. He was on her phone. They shared everything. That was absolutely brave of her to take that picture. And I really feel like what I was telling Chelsea this, I really feel like part of what happened on that was that after what happened with Moab police, that he probably was feeling pretty embarrassed. I think he was embarrassed. I think he thought that she embarrassed him, and he just decided to take her out. All right, I'm dropping stitches here, and I got to see what I got. Hold on, let me count this real quick. Okay, I'm good. Thought I had dropped one. Yeah, they totally mistreated it. Yes, they did know. Yep, they did know. So one of the lawsuits had been settled. That's what I was looking for also. Let me see if I can find it. Just a minute. One of the lawsuits was settled. But I want to say it was settled for like $30 million. Is it the 3 or 30? And the parents said, we don't care if how much of it we get because it's not coming to us. It's all going to the foundation, the Petito Foundation. December 6th, the FBI released its final update. Because the lawyer knew within less than 72 hours. So the parents filed a civil lawsuit against the Laundrie seeking $300,000 in damages for pain and suffering and mental anguish. But it was settled. I can't find it now. Anyway, it's awful. Anyway, you look at it, it's an awful thing. Hello, Jeannie. It's coming out in depositions, is what's going on, you guys. It's coming out in depositions. It's bad that it all went south. Bad. Bad for everybody. You've got 2 kids that are dead now because of this. I agree. That's bad. But, his actions, he's the one that did it. Brian is the one that did it. And there's nobody else you can blame for that besides him. Nobody's blaming them for her death. They're blaming them for not telling them. For withholding that information. That's what they're blaming them for. And they had a responsibility, whether they were his parent or not. If they had information, they had a responsibility to share that. So, the Murdaugh Trial, y'all. Holy moly. Can I say that I would, here's what I would like us to do about this Murdaugh trial, you guys. I know this is going to sound strange and everything else, but I think we need to separate this out for just a minute. Now, no, just follow me for a second. This is going to sound really weird, but follow me for a second. The trial got meshed together, the financials with the rest of the trial. And it was the judge admitted it because he said that it was that the state was presenting it as a way to prove motive against the defendant. And so he allowed this financial stuff to come in. So we've had a mesh now between the financial stuff and the other stuff. Now, I listened to all of it twice because it was first listened to on camera without the jury. And then once the judge heard enough of it and decided that he would let it all come in, then we had to listen to it again. Of course, it's the jury's first time. I did see they put that up, Sandy. I have not gone over there yet, and I may not go over there until we go to till the jury gets the case. I don't want my brain to get more of that in there. Okay. But here's what I want you guys to do. Hang on. Listen. Think about it in 2 different. I know they got combined. But without the financial, what do we have? Think about it for a little bit. What do we have? The police show up because Alex calls them. And he says, and we're just talking about this night. We're not talking about all the stuff before. And we're not talking about the financial. Let's just talk about this night. Let's just talk about what happened. Alec calls them. This is when everything gets engaged. This is when it engages. Alec says, "My wife and child are dead." Okay? When the police show up, he has a gun. They take the gun, they put it in their vehicle. They do the GSR test on him. They take all of the bullets from all down around the uh, kennels and all of that stuff. What else do we have? What is the actual evidence that can prove that he did this? We do not have a gun. They they did not find his DNA on any of the weapons. They didn't find his DNA on the phone, on Paul's phone. They do not have any they did find GSR. He had gunshot residue on his hands, he had gunshot residue on his clothes. But they're claiming that came from the gun that he had in his hand when they got him. Okay, so the tarp. The tarp is what was brought from, which turned out to be, but I'm confused because I'm not sure if it's the tarp or is it the blue shirt. They tested the blue shirt and they found lots of gun residue on the inside of the blue rain jacket, which looked like a tarp. And that the caregiver saw him bring it in, was carrying something. They found it in the bottom of the closet. It had no gun in it when they found it, but the inside of this rain jacket was covered in gun residue. That's pretty damning evidence if you ask me. What else do we have though? No clothes, no blood anywhere on him. I'm not sure. Hand pink, waving, elbow, cough. She's putting in some emojis that I can't see in StreamYard. That's what that says to me. True. But I don't think he touched them. We have no evidence that he touched them. He says he touched them. He told everybody he touched them. We don't have evidence that he touched them. My questions are the missing guns, missing shirt. He called them back. And why not? So Buster, they have verified that Buster was not there. So they verified Buster was nowhere near, this. But why? Why? That's a good question. Why Buster was not also killed? And yes, we do have evidence that he called. Now that happened today. That went on today. That he called Maggie and Paul and asked them to meet him at Moselle. So we do have that. Okay. But I'm with you guys on this. I think you all know how I feel about this. I think he's dirtier than a stinky pair of socks. I don't think it gets I, I don't have any doubt in my mind. However, it's really hard because you don't know what juries are going to do. And I think that Mr. Dick Harpootlian. I have a new name for him, by the way. I'm calling him Little Dick, but that's okay. It's just my name for him. I'm not going to say it again. Don't make me repeat it. That man is appearing to everyone to be just this little old guy who's up there and I can't believe he's still practicing law and he's up there doing this and doing that. But that man is a master, an absolute genius at confusing the jury. Genius. Uh-huh. I can just call him that if y'all are okay. He had no reason to want to kill Buster. Maggie and he were living in different houses. She was onto the finances being shady, and he blamed Paul for the boat crash. There it is. That, my friends, is the motive. But what's the proof? Yep. We also had that come out this week. So we had the manipulation of the housekeeper and Mrs. Smith. This is what you saw, right? Right? So first of all, we need you to make sure and let everybody know that I was there for over 40 minutes, not 20 minutes. And then, you know, um what was the other one? What you saw? You saw what did he tell her? Help me out because I forgot already because this is, my head. Oh yes, and let me help you pay for your wedding. Tried to bribe her, let me pay for your wedding. The fact that they let Harpootlian get away with what he's getting away with is what is irritating me. I was yelling at the TV today. Just saying. And I did not know, you guys. I had to look this up. I did not know that they could say, this is what you said in the grand jury. I thought all the grand jury stuff was private, that they could not talk about what happened in the grand jury because Harpootlian, I was like, what? He said it twice. Where's the objection to that? It can be. I actually took a screenshot of when I looked it up. The use of grand jury testimony may be introduced as evidence and can fall outside the hearsay rule if the statement in question was an admission by a party that was voluntarily made. Yeah, the Poot. Is that what we call him? Is Poot? Is that a nickname? Do you know if that's a nickname for him? I like Little Dick. I don't know. Sorry. That's funny though. See, I think there ought to at least have been some sort of an objection or, clarify why it can come in or how he can ask or any of that kind of stuff. Okay. You know, any of that. There's just not been. Now, you got to hand it to the poor guy. I forget which lawyer it is for the prosecution that was fumbling all over himself. They had to take the jury out of the room 3 times today during the testimony of the housekeeper. 3 times. And I thought it was hilarious because the last time the judge looked at both of the lawyers and said, "Y'all work it out. We'll be back." I mean, come on. Just, duke it out. Get this over with. We'll be back. That was so funny. Hey, Kathy. I know it. I know it. He's like, y'all just work it out. I'll be back. I didn't know if I was going to like this judge at first, but he's growing on me. Oh, I know. Well, they're saying sometime next week. You were watching the trial via a prosecutor's channel, and she called him that, and I laughed so hard. It's his nickname now. Pootie? The Poot. Oh, gosh. Thank you, Lorna. Then I sent somebody a text today, and I said, because, we've got Dick and Jim. I said, "What is this, Dick and Dorf?" I can't, you guys. This has got me loopy, this thing. This thing has got me loopy. People are dead. People are dead. Lots of people around these people. It's as bad or worse than the damn Wagners. They did it all in one night. These people, all these people been dying around them for years. Yeah, well, I would agree with them on that. Oh shoot, did I increase? Did anybody see me increase? Now I got to tink back. I can't remember if I increased. This yarn, it's really hard to tell. Y'all know what? Oh, I did, right? Oh gosh, what did I do? What the heck? I got a little upset there. I got a little excited. Okay, so what all did we learn? And then I was having some trouble with the whole. I feel so bad for this jury because y'all, there's a lot of math. A lot of math here. I feel so bad for them. They have to figure out all this damned math between the cell phones, okay, the time on his cell phone and the time on her cell phone and the time on that cell phone, and then where were they and where was that and where was this, and the math. Math is bad. I know. It is. Y'all remember that, right? I can't. I can't. Okay, yes, I was gonna bring that up. Okay, so now let's bring in all the other crap, right? Okay, we're not sure about the evidence. We're not sure there's enough. Let's bring all the other crap in here, okay? Today, was it today or yesterday? I believe it was yesterday. Buster and his no, it's Buster and his girlfriend and Alex's sister, correct? Am I correct on that? I believe that's who it was. They were asked to move to the back of the court because Alex's sister decided to pass him a note through the lawyer. Okay, first of all, we already know that Alec is not getting treated like anybody else in the courtroom. There's no restraints, there's no nothing. There's no he gets to walk in and out with books like he's one of the other lawyers, in the room, and he's the damned defendant. So we already know that there's all that going on. And then on top of that, he gets gum and he gets all these other things, and he gets to turn around and say hello to everybody behind him and all of that stuff. And then the sister passes him a note. Well, it's against the rules. You are not allowed to have contact. None. And then this is why this has infuriated me, this whole thing. How about the fact that they did not sequester anybody? The only thing that's been sequestered has been the gag order, evidently, for the lawyers that are involved. So they are um, gagged, but nobody else is. The witnesses have been allowed to sit. The rule did not get invoked. All the witnesses that wanted to can sit in the courtroom. Thank God half of them just didn't want to be near him. It is something. It is something. But I do believe, Denny, I do believe it is falling apart. There is just only a semblance of this law firm that is left. Is anybody else having trouble where you're actually thinking about The Firm, like the movie The Firm? They were all scared, you know, don't you think? If you ask people in that town, that's exactly what's going on. I want to see the interviews of people in town. We haven't seen that of anything. There's been nobody saying nothing because they're all scared to talk. They had a hard time making the HBO, deal for it because people didn't want to talk to them. Nobody wanted to talk about this family. Yeah, yesterday. And then when they told Buster and them to move, he kicks a water bottle on the floor like a little brat. And can we talk can we talk about the fact that there was a bomb scare? I mean, I'm not going to accuse anybody, but you know, it makes you wonder who called that in, doesn't it? Oh, you guys, it's just a mess. And then the kid tonight, that kid tonight, I wanted to go up and say, "Yes. Yes, finally. Okay, I'm calling it tonight," but it was towards the end of the day today. They brought Tootum in. And Tootum got up there and he asked him, he says, "Well, are you trying to say?" He said, "I am not trying to say nothing." And I was like, "Yes." It was so good. So good. That young man was, and everybody liked Paul. But Paul didn't know how to drink, did it a lot, and did some shitty things. And somebody died. And it happens. It happens. We all know people in our lives. We all know people in our families that have done things, and somebody got hurt or something. We all can tell a story. It doesn't necessarily sum up that person's life, and I understand that. Okay? Doesn't mean I still feel sorry for him in any lasting way. I don't think he ever had a drug problem. Ever. Nobody else does either. There is no way that that man would function the way he was functioning and be around everybody and everybody be as close as they say they are and not know that he had a drug problem. You cannot tell me he had a drug problem. I don't believe it. Yes. And yeah, well, he was not very happy that Tinsley was there. He was not happy. Same. Yeah. Yeah, but they send him to rehab. Now, how do you send him to rehab for something that he really isn't addicted to? Yeah. How long was he there? Was he suicidal? I mean, people are falling completely apart when this happens. Completely apart. It was. There's been I really wanted to hug the Satterfield young man, and then I wanted to hug that Tudum. Both of them, I really wanted to say, good job. Because, that was honest testimony. That was very honest testimony. I also think that that poor woman needs a drink after today. And that woman has the lady from today, I can't remember names now, you guys. I'm sorry. Um, Blanca. She has a lot of credentials. She was in the service. She was in law enforcement. You know, there's a lot's not being said right there. There is a lot that's not being said as far as what she was able to tell them. And if she's telling you that she saw this and she didn't see that, I'm going to tell you something about Blanca. You need to believe her. You need to believe her because she's had training. She has been a lot of places, she's done a lot of things, and she's not afraid to get her hands dirty. Otherwise, she wouldn't have gone and she saw an opportunity to make money and she liked him. She liked Maggie, you know? And, it looked like you do a little laundry and you make some money. It was probably some fairly easy money. Yeah, Tony, especially Tony, for somebody who, bless his heart, and then he had to tell everybody in court that there's no way his other brother could stand up to testimony because he doesn't function as a normal uh, adult would function. So, he's having to stand in. He's having to stand in. And and he has a speech impediment himself. That woman worked for them for what was it, 17 something years? So now how do we feel about it? Now we bring all this stuff, all the crap in. How do we feel about it? He did it, right? Just saying. Okay, you guys, I'm going to let you go. Yes, Rosie, I'm going to go too because uh, I need to go rest again some more. But I'm so glad you guys were here tonight with me. Sunday, I will give you all updates on everything I am making, how much I have gotten done on anything. We will do that on Sunday. Tuesday, we're going to talk some more about the death of a salesman. We're still on Act 1, so if you guys have not finished it, we'll be doing that. And what else? I'm not up to the point of filming the rest of the Make a Dick and Makey long. No, that didn't go well. That did not go well. The Make a Dicky Make Along. And I'm not there yet. There's been a lot of D word today. Yes. He was so nasty to him. He really was. I know. I did. I messed it up. I messed it up. We could go on and on about and honestly, I have to shout out to Terry if you're listening and watching later. Come on. I mean, they got really low with some of these witnesses and And Harpootlian looked at Blanca like she was just a dirty Mexican. I'm sorry, but that's wrong. That is wrong. You people? Oh, yeah, you people name your trucks. Did you see the look that she gave him? I saw it. Oh, Pooty Poot. Yeah, oh, Pooty Poot. Mm-mm. He knows exactly what he's doing, y'all. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I'm getting some of my spunk back. Can you see it? I'm trying. And I do sound better. It's getting there. Got to get through the steroids. Love y'all. Have a great night. I will see you on Sunday. Have a great weekend. Y'all have fun today. And I will talk to you later. I don't know if my boys are watching, but I love you, Solomon. I love you, Oliver. And it's green toy time. So he's ready. He's like, "Oh, are you stopping? Is it time? Is it time, bud? Can you see the tail? Is it time? Yeah? It's time for green toy, y'all. Every night at 8 o'clock. Okay, I'll see y'all later. I'll see you Sunday. Bye. Love y'all.